Yeah, I'm Roger Hammond, member service manager with an energy services manager with Midland Power Cooperative. As Bill mentioned, Midlands has been an advocate for energy efficiency and electrification since our formation in 1992. It all happens to be about the time that our first speaker started working for Corn Belt Power Cooperative in Humboldt. For more than 34 years, Jim Sayers worked for Corn Belt Power, leading public relations, marketing, information services, and energy efficiency efforts. Along the way, he became a strong advocate for and a believer in member-owned cooperatives and the cooperative difference. After retiring from Corn Belt Power, he proudly became a beneficial electrification ambassador, sharing stories and experiences about the advantages of living better electrically. So with that, please help me in welcoming and join me in welcoming Jim Sayers from Corn Belt Power, formerly of Corn Belt Power. Thanks, Jim.
Good morning. I've got a mic here, I think.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm going to add my welcome to that of those from the cooperative here. And this is my first time in the building for Midland Power this morning, so I had a tour already, and it's good to be here and welcome you. As I begin, my name is Jim Sayers. I'm a volunteer ambassador with a group called the Beneficial Electrification League. And that's pretty much what people do when they get old and they leave the co-op and they still want to talk about electricity. So that's why I'm here. A little bit about me, though, two things. Number one, as was mentioned, I retired from Corn Belt Power about 5 years ago now. And often when I speak, I sometimes say, you will remember, and then I realize not everyone in the audience will remember because I do. So sometimes I speak from my experience, but not everyone has that experience. The second thing about me is that I have always believed in energy efficiency. The box of bulbs you see in the slide there, I found those out of my barn about a month ago. They were old incandescent light bulbs. I took out of my house, I was so excited to put in CFLs, but I couldn't throw away the old bulbs because they still worked, right? And I might use them someday. Well, I found them in my barn, like I said, a month ago. They'd been there about 10 years. You can see they're pretty old and mixed. So I did throw those away. My wife was happy about that. But in my basement, I still have a box of CFLs that still work too, you know, if I might need those. Question, some of you I know were around in 1970. Where were you in 1970? Earth Day number 1, April 1970. The picture at the right-hand side there, it's out of our high school yearbook, a very poor picture, but it's about our senior project to promote Earth Day. Our senior class decided, what should we do to celebrate Earth Day? The very first one, what should we do? We decided to pick up garbage around the community. And so all day we had our parents' pickups and friends. We went around the city of Humboldt to pick up garbage we collected in the city park, and that was our Earth Day celebration. Earth Day today, though, is a lot more than picking up garbage, isn't it? Whoever thought of energy efficiency back in 1970 or cared? Whoever heard of carbon sequestration back in 1970? That was a new term. Other terms we know now, we talk about recycling, didn't so much then. Nutrient reduction strategies. What does that mean? We didn't think about that then either. So Earth Day started a long time ago, but its efforts continue today in a lot of ways, including ways of electric cooperatives.
What is beneficial electrification? An important part of almost everything we do, and we often take for granted how central it is to our quality of life. Thanks to past electrification efforts, the benefits of electricity reach nearly all Americans. So if electrification has already happened in the past, why are we talking about beneficial electrification now? It's because large groups of stakeholders are realizing more and more benefits as new electric products help consumers save money, become more convenient, and as electricity becomes cleaner and greener. For consumers, electric products can be fun and exciting, like electric vehicles, can offer convenience like smart homes, and can save money due to the incredible energy efficiency of new products like advanced electric water heaters and heat pumps that heat and cool homes. The use of electricity is also an essential strategy for reducing carbon dioxide emissions associated with climate change. The emissions resulting from the generation of electricity have already declined by 29%, and it keeps getting better. This means that every single device that uses electricity has gotten better for the environment over time, just by being plugged into the electric grid as electricity gets greener. For utilities, beneficial electrification provides an important opportunity to engage consumers, deliver more services, and help the environment. A win-win-win scenario. What is beneficial electrification? Electrification provides many benefits that are well known. Different stakeholders throughout communities bring different perspectives of how electrification benefits them. Through a broad coalition, we have established a description of beneficial electrification that a wide group of stakeholders can agree on. If electrifying an end use satisfies at least one of these conditions without adversely affecting the others, it is clearly beneficial. There are abundant opportunities for beneficial electrification, and you can be part of this exciting effort. We hope you can join us in our mission to promote beneficial electrification. Learn more at www.be-league.com. And it keeps getting better. This means that every single device that uses electricity has gotten better for the environment over time, just by being plugged into the electric grid as electricity gets greener. For utilities, beneficial electrification provides an important opportunity to engage consumers, deliver more services, and help the environment. A win-win-win scenario. What is beneficial electrification? Electrification provides many benefits that are well known. Different stakeholders throughout communities bring different perspectives of how electrification benefits them. Through a broad coalition, we have established a description of beneficial electrification that a wide group of stakeholders can agree on. Electrifying an end use satisfies at least one of these conditions without adversely affecting the others, it is clearly beneficial. There are abundant opportunities for beneficial electrification, and you can be part of this exciting effort. We hope you can join us in our mission to promote beneficial electrification. Learn more at www.be-league.com.
The video talked in general about what is beneficial electrification, but it has four key pillars, as I call them: saving consumers money over time, benefiting the environment, improving the products we have or the quality of life, and fosters a more robust and resilient electric grid. In other words, does not hurt the electric grid that we are so dependent upon. Those are very high-level definitions, so I'd like to look at it a little more simply. This is Jim Sayers. I think I'm 2-cycle engine motor challenged. Why is it that I buy a chainsaw in this case? 1 year it works fine, and take it home. The next year, and I do all the stuff, I put the stable in the gas and everything I'm supposed to do, and the next year, this happens. I don't know why. And so then I take it to town and try to get it fixed. Well, that's before beneficial electrification. But then I talked to my friend Skip Christensen in Humboldt, who said, you know what? I have an electric chainsaw, 18-volt battery powered, perfect for someone like me that doesn't cut down huge trees. And so I'm a happy camper. So beneficial electrification makes a difference for consumers. Some of you have been around electricity a long time. Some of us in the co-op land have. And we are asked, what's the benefit of electricity? And all these kind of words start spewing out of our mouths now, just automatically. Better quality of life. It's 24-hour servant, a hired hand. It's convenient, safe, clean, economical. All those things are the benefits of electricity we've talked about for many, many years. And over the years, electric cooperatives and other utilities in particular have promoted cool electric stuff. What would happen today if we took all our electric devices out on our lawns just to show them off like this old picture from the past? Probably a lot of our lawns wouldn't even hold everything anymore. But in the past, we promoted electric technology because of its benefits to our members and consumers. So we have added, through beneficial electrification, one more point about the value of electricity, and that is one that's called environmentally beneficial, as you just heard from the video. Why or how is electricity beneficial environmentally? Through load management, through storage, through batteries, through new and renewable generation utilities are installing, through special rates to encourage off-peak charging, for example, through policies, metering, and on through new technologies, which is one thing I am very excited about today. As I mentioned, though, I'm very interested in energy efficiency. And a lot of us in the co-op world have been promoting EE for a long time, haven't we? Through heat pumps, as Bill mentioned, through lighting, through other technology. Beneficial electrification is not the same as efficiency, though. It supports it, but it's not the same. Because, and this is a big because, beneficial electrification encourages what we in the utility world called fuel switching. In the past, we could say we promote energy efficiency, but it has to result in less electric use. Beneficial electrification says no. What we are doing is encouraging electric use to replace fossil fuel use. If we do that, it represents an opportunity for sales for the co-ops and for the utilities. This chart just shows what might happen based on the past or future predictions, especially if beneficial electrification encourages, say, more transportation, increased sales for utilities. And often if you mention environmental and utilities, a lot of people have the perception of the left-hand photo, don't they? They picture power plants spewing particulates in the air, all those kinds of things, which may have been true many, many, many years ago before environmentalism and awareness in the utility business. However, the right side picture is becoming more and more common. The video we saw had this chart in it. It's showing pounds of CO2 as the vertical axis over time, pounds of CO2 per megawatt hour. So over time, since 2005, on the left-hand side of the screen, the amount of CO2 as environmental released from generation of electricity has gone down per megawatt hour, kilowatt hour, however you want to define it. Electricity, no matter what you plug in today, is cleaner than it was in the past. This chart is another look at that. It says at the top, renewables became the second most prevalent electric source in 2020. If you look at the chart, the top big bar, the yellow one or brown one, it's coal generation. On the increase since 1950, significantly has gone down in recent years. Natural gas, the light blue, has gone up. Renewables, which is the green line, you can see that has creeped up over the years, and as this says, through the Energy Information Administration, surpassed all except the natural gas in 2020. And what are renewables? I think we've thought of dam hydropower for many, many years. That's the blue part of this chart. Above that, we have biomass, which is always there. We have geothermal, which is from the ground geothermal. But look at the growth in wind and solar in the last few years. And that is something that has been a big change in utilities. A couple of busy charts. The left one is the US. The right one is Iowa. Somebody would say, well, what are these gases, these greenhouse gases we've been talking about, and where do they come from? Let's look at the left-hand chart. What's the biggest piece there? Well, you see kind of the middle, electric generation. However, that has gone down, as we mentioned in the other slide. Transportation, the piece at the bottom, the green-blue bar, that is a significant part of the greenhouse gas emissions today, and I think represents an opportunity for beneficial electrification. Industry is green, and above that you see residential, commercial, agricultural. So that is the US, and it represents, I think, the opportunity for electrification for us as we think about the future. On the right-hand side of the chart, it's the Iowa for 1 year. If you look at the left-hand, agriculture, I think it's 29% is the largest part or responsibility for greenhouse gases. The next one, it's actually, you can't see the letters very well, but it's residential, commercial, industrial. Okay, buildings, heating, cooling buildings. After that, you see the utilities and then transportation, and those examples are shown as well. So those are the sources of the gases, or greenhouse gases, generally speaking. Beneficial electrification seeks to use electricity to try to reduce those. Ever wondered why we do things the way we do them? In fact, why do so many people have fires in their basement to heat their house? Probably because once upon a time everyone had a fireplace to heat their house, right? But the movie, I think the video is trying to ask us a question: why do we do things the way we do them? And is that even a wise thing to do anymore? This is an ad from, I think, the 1960s. It was talking about new electric living. I thought, how exciting is that? It was predicting what might happen in the future for electric use. Your food will cook in seconds instead of hours. Imagine that. Electricity will close your windows at the first drop of rain. Lamps will cut on and off automatically and fit the lighting needs of your rooms. Television screens, in quotes, will hang on the walls. An electric heat pump will use outdoor air to heat and cool your house in summer. Heat your house in winter and cool it in the summer. A vision. And yet, how much of this vision from the 60s has become reality today? This is a list of targeted electrification technologies put out by the Electric Power Research Institute, which is a national organization representing utilities, co-ops, and investor-owned utilities, targeting what they see as opportunities for electrification in the future. Residential, you see heat pumps. Commercial, heat pumps and heat pumps. Heat pump heaters, dehumidification, a variety of applications for electricity. Industrial, infrared curing, drying, induction surface treatment, on, and transportation, as we mentioned already. Light-duty passenger cars, we've seen that. School buses, also off-road transportation. These are technologies regarded as important. And what's central about a lot of these technologies? That is batteries. Some of you may remember that on the left we see the old first electric screwdriver. I remember that one. It was great. It worked really good until its battery pooped out. You plugged it in, and unfortunately when the unit wore out, you had to replace the whole unit because it didn't have a replaceable battery. How many things do we have now that are battery powered in daily life? Technology we see all over the place. These are applications of technology in homes, businesses, schools, industry throughout our daily lives. Off-road transportation, farms, airports, train stations, all those kinds of places. A couple of things affecting our electrification today are two federal acts. One was the Infrastructure Act of 2021 and the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act. Both of those acts provide federal dollars for electrification around the United States. Technologies, I'll highlight a few of the favorite ones. Electric vehicles. Electric vehicles, as we know, have increased in number, percentage of sales. US DOT and labor statistics have shown sales. Currently, EVs represent about 5% of all sales for new passenger vehicles. Milestones projected to increase tremendously. All dependent or maybe supported in many ways on tax credits, the fuel prices, of course, utility programs, a lot of situations that we can support through our utilities. EV registration by state, it's not equal across the United States. I guess what I would say today is EV adoption will be a transition type of experience, like a lot of other technologies. Not everyone supports EV technology for a lot of reasons. Economic might be one, might be political, it might be just preferences, it might be just what they're used to. One key one is what we call range anxiety. How far can a car go on a charge and can you get there and back? The chart at the left shows that most of the miles driven by people in the United States are short mile trips to town, back to town, around town every day, certainly within the transportation range of the vehicles. Charging on trips is a big question. Several organizations, including utilities and co-ops, have established maps to identify where are the chargers if you choose to take a long trip with your EV. School buses. There is a program through EPA started last year through the federal funding that allows schools to receive free electric school buses. In Iowa, 30 buses have been approved for 14 school districts. Why? To reduce the emissions, the cost of transporting students. And as Bill mentioned in our opening, a big deal for co-ops is the home heating and cooling. Typically, a house uses about 25% of its energy for electric use, those appliances and tools. 75% is thermal use. How much of that could be replaced by electricity? The Beneficial Electrification League has the section called Weatherization and Electrification, focusing specifically on how to adopt electric technology for heating and cooling, which we've done for a long time, but remembering that it has to include weatherization or energy efficiency. Co-ops have never promoted using electricity just to spin the meters. We've heard that term a lot, but it's often and importantly associated with the energy efficiency use of those devices in the home. Interesting, just last year in the air conditioning heating field, heat pumps overtook furnaces for the first time. To me, that was an interesting and, of course, as an electric guy, an exciting statistic. What's the goal? Get rid of stuff like this. Two, again, save the member money, improve their quality of life, and become more environmental. As I close today, I will ask what you think are your electric predictions for the future. Sometimes they seem very wild and unbelievable when they're proposed, but reality sometimes turns the other way. Finally, just a little bit of, as I close, about what is the Beneficial Electrification League. It's a national organization supported by NRECA, also the Natural Resources Defense Council. An interesting combination of interests from utilities and environmental interests. And it's also supported now through the United States by businesses, heat pump manufacturers, many utilities across the country. And this is my closing slide with some links, but again, thank you for the opportunity to talk about something important to my heart, but I think something that can be providing future value for co-ops and our co-op members.
Just really quickly, what do you think is the best bang for your buck when you're looking at, changing out your existing heating and cooling system, something like that, moving into more of an electrified system? I mean, what do you think gives the most impact for a member, if they're looking at making a change?
Well, for members making a change in heating and cooling, step number one always is to evaluate your energy efficiency of your home. It doesn't help to put an efficient system in a house that just is going to blow air and heating and cooling out the windows. So I think always EE, or energy efficiency, is step number one. After that, evaluate, and all the, I will call them high quality and knowledgeable HVAC contractors today have software that can evaluate heating and cooling options, efficiencies and choices, and also project costs. So I would trust an expert to do that. I would also always ask them, please be sure to include electric options like heat pumps, whether it's air source or geo, because not all the contractors include those necessarily. But start with energy efficiency always, and then look at what you need after that.